There we go. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and it's all about the alternative is back again for the afternoon. I made an attempt at this morning, so here we are. We're getting it all started again. As it turned out, I was realizing the time frame, and of course, our alarm for the building was about to go off, and so kind of realized that if I was going to do this, that would probably not have been. It would have been kind of bad have that going on. Anyway, so welcome to All About the Alternative, and this is basically my behavioral studies, humanities. I'm going to cover a little bit about all of it. Hopefully, you can join me here. Whoever's coming in, if you join in, and you can tell me who you are and tell me who's where you're coming from, and if where do you sit on this topic, what's your interest, if there is an interest, just anything you feel about it is fine. As I have mentioned in other times when I've done this, I've done a couple of ones. I did the one last week, and it's basically just a touching on the issues of behavioral studies, um, the social sciences that we all learned when we were younger. Some of it is all going to be covered under here, so you're probably going to recognize things that you probably have heard in the past, things you know about, and you're going to learn about things that are just generally, everyday stuff. And it's going to cover lots of things. Um, and the whole behavioral studies thing, that's the most biggest part of, like, it branched out to so many different things. So it's basically behavioral studies and humanities. Um, and when I found all of this information, it was something I was actually doing research on myself that sort of broadened out all of this, because I was doing some research on, uh, well, religion and cultures, and about theology, and a number of things in that area. And so it sort of became something I was very passionate about, something I was very interested in. And then I just sort of branched and got further and further more into as I went on. And then I discovered there was a bunch of books that I could actually get that was related to all of it. And uh, and now I thought, well, I've got all these books. I'm going to share them. I'd love to have the open discussion. There are people that I know are part of, the creators that are here, that are also very interested in this as well. And they are scholars in this area. So, while they're busy telling people what they should or shouldn't be doing in their lives, there's probably something that they can offer to this discussion too. But you don't have to be a scholar here to get into this discussion. When I get into the stuff about religions and about the cultures, this is not Bible study. Just want to make that clear. This is just not Bible study. This is about learning about these things. I'm going to be covering the Bible. I'm going to be covering I'm sort of a comparison, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, to be a comparison of the Torah versus the Bible. Actually, because I am Jewish, of course, there is some things that I am probably more aware, or more knowledge on my side of it, as I learned about some of the other things. And then there's a lot of other cultures, a lot of other religions, and there are other religions. You can't be just saying, "Oh, there's only one religion. There's only one way to go." Well, I'm all about the alternative here, so I get that. um, I get to do that part of it, because that is what my channel is all about the alternative. We're not just talking about one thing. We get to talk about it all, and and it was emphasizing that last week, which surprised me when I was doing the opening part of this, and I did the first part about behavioral studies, the first book that actually sort of gives a training idea of how some of this is going to take place and what the interest is what that basically highlighted. I got out of my life and went on to the news and discovered what was going on, and of course that was last Wednesday. So when I discovered all of that was going on, I was very, that's total, like, it's in the topic, I guess. If you want to look at it that way, it's in the topic. But I was really taken aback by that. And then, of course, it was all over every channel. Everybody was ready to jump on the bandwagon and talk about it. And some were in good light, some were in bad light. And I think that is needed to, putting it out like that. You're basically, the person who is responsible for it is probably, uh, you know, getting getting tried by social media at this point, and I don't think that's a good thing either. But that's an opinion, and I know that I'm holding that opinion the way it is. Anyway, but everyone's going to do it. Everyone's going to jump on that bandwagon anyway, whether they are, if depending on what side they're sitting on, that's exactly what they're going to do. So I'm not going to fault anybody for that. I mean, that's some people carry the news on their channels, and they're doing it well, but they just to have that in mind too. I guess that's the thing. But as the alternative here, my intention with this whole plan is to cover all sides. Different religions, different cultures, and like I said earlier, I found some recent new things to add on to it that I hadn't even seen before. So now that I have that, it's going to be something I'm going to be incorporating as well, with some different cultures. Religion is going to be a key part of this, though, because of course that's where originally this sort of came from. When I went to look at all this relationships, there's going to be a piece on gender studies, which is I'm looking for some other texts as well that might be a little more fluent for some people. We're going to see how that goes. I don't really know how that's going to go, but hopefully I've got some people coming into my live here that are going to be, interested in actually sharing their thoughts on it, and what they are thinking, whenever whenever I get a chance to do this. I'm not necessarily, most likely Tuesdays and Thursdays are the most likely days that I'm going to be available for now. Or just for most recent time right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll try to stick to something that I can be consistent with. And it may occasionally be either Monday or Wednesday, if I have time, but I don't know how that's going to work out yet. So the plan is to go through these books. And I'm going to be working on all the books. It's just going to be... as I'm going through some of them, and I haven't put this newest one up yet, but I do have a Facebook group that is going to be, it basically is the Facebook page for this channel. So it's not just for this behavioral and humanities course. I had another channel, or not channel, another Facebook group that I started that was just basically sharing some of the gadgets and stuff like that I was reviewing. So I may stick to that for that Facebook group. This new Facebook group is going to be more related to the files that are associated to this channel. So it's actually called All About the Alternative File Sharing page. And you should be able to find that. It is in the description below. So you'll be able to find that there, and you'll be able to join there. Now, for right now, it's actually open. I have not put it to private yet. I figured let a few people come into it first that I know that are going to be coming into it. Hopefully they will join it. And then after that, I will close it up to be private, and I will have to approve who comes into it after that point. But we'll see how it goes. If it's going well and there's no issues, I may leave it public so that we have more people join and more people have an interest. We'll see. It's just a file sharing page, so I will probably put some comments up on there. Of course, anybody else can comment on there too if you want to ask any questions there. If you want to ask questions, you can do that here too, actually. Hi, Chris. Sorry, I just noticed you were in here. Sorry, my apologies. So I want to be able to do that. So I will be putting the books that I'm sharing on that file sharing page, but you're also going to see some other things too, some recipes that I've come up with. Some of them are my own, some of them are ones I've found. It'll probably be shown what they are on there, and also some other files. I mentioned on my Rocketbook video that I made my own pages, and so I'm going to share those pages there too. And then anything else that those pages. So there's a file section on the Facebook group, and all the files will be shared there. Now, if you want to share a file with it as well, actually, I believe that is actually something that any member of the group is also allowed to do. So you can do that too. Okay. So I don't know how I don't know how many people will get today. Hopefully, this will grow a little bit. I don't know how you know. I've done a few other lives where actually I wound up with someone. I've had people in and into the actual live while I was doing it, and then afterward it's like it disappeared. So the people who had joined weren't there. The chat was in there and everything, and we had that. I don't know what happened to it, but anyway, and all the likes that were on that as well also disappeared for it, and they never did come back for that one. And then the other day when I did the other video, it sat there for several, like, about 2 days of processing, which I understand a lot of other people had the same problem. So it was actually a YouTube-wide problem, but so it did come back afterwards, and it did actually show the amount of people that have seen it or have watched it during the live as well. So maybe it's just a YouTube glitch. Hopefully that is all that was the problem, and I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, so I guess this is, let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so just bear with me a moment here. So I do want to start off with the book. As I don't know. So if you've watched the other one, did you see the other one, Chris? I don't know if you saw it or not. From what I did on Wednesday, I covered basically a little bit of a introduction to behavioral science. Oh, I want to bring up one other thing too, which I brought up this morning, and now I finally am able to share it. So let me just get the page here. Okay, so one of the things that you're going to see here is some wording that when you see my wording for something, of course I'm Canadian, and of course sometimes you're going to see things like favorite or in this case behavioral is spelled differently than what the US is used to, and it's just a matter of the US has one type of spelling that they have, and British and Canadian have a very, like, it's just a lettering difference, but it actually means this. All the stuff is the same thing. I'm just going to share this. Hopefully that works. I don't know if it's showing or not. Hopefully it's sharing. I don't know if it's sharing. Went to black on me here. So I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Let me stop sharing that for a second. Okay. I had it working before. Let's see why it's not sharing. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it's not sharing there. Okay. Maybe I need to work on that a little bit. Okay, that's not very good. Because it goes to a black screen, and it shouldn't. Hold on here. Because it's supposed to explain. Oh my goodness, I'm shaking a little. Sorry for the shaking of the screen, guys. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me here. I don't know why. Why did I have it working before? Oh, hang on. Just bear with me. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm prepared, I guess. Let's try this way. I think this is how it worked last time. That's not how it worked either. Okay. This is the play and learn, okay? This is a little bit of that play and learn. I don't know why it's not showing up on my screen. Let's try. Break it off there. Let's see if that works. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm trying to show here, and hopefully it comes up, is behavioral, and the word behavioral has an OUR, and I was trying to show that a little bit here. So I don't know as to why it's not showing up. Oh, wait, there we go. Now it's showing up. Okay, I got it. This is the power of doing things live, right? So here we go. This thing here is showing the behavior and behavioral, and I'm sure most people are aware of this, but just in case, some people may not know Grammarly that um, every time I put in my version of spelling, of course, which would be this version here, which is the behavioral with the OUR, a couple of places that I was trying to put it into, of course, would reject it, as it was saying that it was spelt incorrectly. And so I don't know why it would do that, but that's because you think it would recognize both. And it does the same thing with words like favorite or humor. Those words are all spelled differently for Canadian and British than they are spelled in U.S. And so so that's why you're going to see a combination. You're going to see some spots where it's actually going to say that as the two different ways, and we're just going to go along with it because that's the way it works, I guess. Anyway, that should be pretty much make sense, but I'm going to point that out here. So anyway, okay, so now I know what happened there because I have to switch back and forth between my screen and the screen that it's on. And that's the reason why I'm having a little bit of trouble with it that way. So let me just do it this way then. So hopefully, I was hoping we'd get more people coming in. I don't know when the best time to do it is. I don't want to step on anybody else's toes, basically. because I know there are lots of other shows that are like in the evenings and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know when I can really, get the best timing to do this. Maybe it's on a weekend time. That might be the better time to do it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that I'm going to get on the replay because most of the time I do get a number of people who watch my show or watch my live afterward on the replay. And if that's the case, then hopefully you're joining me here and you can still give me the like, you can still give me a subscribe, and hopefully you can put comments down below with what your thoughts are about what I'm saying and what I'm doing. Um, but hopefully this catches on a little bit more over time. I'm hoping that I can get more people in and get interested in this. It's sort of my own topic rather than, or my own thing rather than using somebody else's, I don't really, one of the things I do have as a policy with my channel is not to mention other channels, what the names of the other channels are, unless somebody says, hey, I want a mention of my channel, kind of thing that I'm actually speaking to directly. And I know the whole fair use thing and fair, but so some of this helps me actually broaden out some of that so I can talk about some things and um, and so there's lots of things that are related to this. Um, so let's see what we can. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it for a different day. Maybe I will leave this now for maybe Thursday or something like that, and try again. Maybe that would be a better day, a better time. Get more people involved. If you really are interested, please give me that like. Hopefully, you can do that. I don't seem to, I don't know, a lot of times when I'm doing my videos, I say, give me a like and subscribe. And I don't seem to see, I know basically there's a few likes that I get, but I don't get a whole lot. And I don't know what the reason for that is. If there's some reason that you need to give it a dislike, put down in the comments why. If there's something, that would help me out too. Maybe there's something I'm not saying or doing to help you guys out with what I'm doing. I don't know. um, so I've been doing my best to stick to this thing. Maybe I will start mentioning what I'm referring to or something. Maybe that would actually be a controversial thing. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. It's not my thing to do that, and I don't really. I saw myself as maybe doing the commentary way back when I was looking at starting this whole thing. But I decided I didn't really want to go that route. And of course, I've done some social media concepts on my channel, which is sort of showing what's been saying out there and what's been talking about. But I didn't need to actually say, what the channel is that I'm referring to or anything. And like I said, I'm doing a lot of stuff that's related to what I've been seeing out there with religions and with cultures and relationships and things like that. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are very one-sided. And so I guess the way I was saying the other day is let's close that gap. There's more information we can learn about each other, learn about everything. The story I was telling this morning, my friends and I, when I was in years, when I was younger, we fascinated each other with our religions and our cultures, and we learned from each other, despite the fact that we were actually, none of us were the same culture together. It was, everybody had something else to bring to the table, and we all learned from each other. It was a fascinating thing. And I see so much divide on YouTube these days that is like, oh, well, you only have one thing. You can only know one thing. And I don't agree necessarily with that. Um, so it's, there's so many other things we can add to this, put in play, and that's why I want the open discussion. I want the discussion. Let's talk about what you are interested in with learning this. Maybe, like I said, it's all there's a lot there, and I'm expanding it every day. I'm actually finding out more books and more more parts to this that I can think of. And so that's something I'm looking to. I'm going to be expanding this whole thing, I think. Um, so there's a lot to it there. Um, and we'll see. I guess it was a whole education plan, basically, kind of thing. So it was a course for the behavioral and stuff like that. There's a lot. There's a lot to cover in this thing. So hopefully you'll stick with me on that. If you are a scholar and you want to get involved in this conversation, you're more than welcome. Nobody's putting anybody down here. Nobody's going to be, it's all about everybody and everything. So I don't want it to be, well, everyone's saying it this way, and I can't put my, get into the conversation and say what you're thinking, and let's have the conversation, because you know what, one person may think something over another person. This isn't debate, really. It's just learn. There is lots of different cultures and how they view how something is done. And maybe they celebrate. Maybe even though you might be one religion and another person comes in with a different religion or the same religion, uh, they they actually participate in it differently than what you do, or how they do, and you can actually share in that and learn from each other. There's no reason for that you can't. Um, like I said, this isn't going to be the Bible study necessarily. Well, I don't want to do Bible study really, but it's just going to be comparisons of the different scriptures. So I do want to read through them. Eventually, we're going to go probably step by step and read through what's being offered by all of those. Like the Bible, the Torah. Uh, you know, I do have a copy of the Quran. I have an English copy of the Quran. Uh, um, I have, Dianetics. I have a Book of Mormon. I have all these different ones. I have, that we can go through and actually just learn a little bit about everything, step by step. So I don't know if I'm going to do the other book today. I don't know if I should or not. I don't seem to have a whole lot of people coming in yet and getting to know this whole thing. So I think I'm still doing, this is still introduction to it. And as I get more people coming into the conversation, and more people coming in to visit the channel, maybe there'll be more of an understanding. And I don't want to, I hope I'm not like wasting a time to do that. I don't know if that's my sound that just went out or what. So hopefully, I can probably check that. I can just check and make sure my sound is still working here. It's still working. Okay. Sorry about that. May get me in stereo for a second there. So it's interest. The whole thing has been an interest to me, and like I said, I've watched other creators that put a big emphasis on what their background is, and I just watched one. Like I said earlier, I watched one yesterday talk about how randomly just suggested that he's part of part of my culture as well, and his employee that was there was basically disputing of what my religion is, and I think he should have cut that segment off of his show. I think there's some editing that he could have learned to do. Maybe that would be a great idea. If he figured out how to do some editing, that probably should have been taken out. I don't think that was appropriate. But you know what? If it's, you put it in there, you put it in there, and you've said it now. So your employee has no idea about culture, no idea about religion, and that's sad. Um, that could have been a learning moment, and you could have actually gone and said something to teach there about the religion and topic, but you didn't do that. So what can we say? It's that's where it is, and uh, that's my thoughts on it. um, and I just don't want to be, like I said, I'm not going to mention channels. I'm not going to, unless I'm speaking to that channel and saying, can I mention you or whatever. And uh, that's it's kind of heartbreaking to watch some of these actually suggest that one way is the only way to be there, and it's kind of sad. Um, and so you have to, like, that's a reason why we have such divides of all of people, and why people are scared to say what they actually are in this world, because they may get ridiculed for it. um, you know uh, and this is why I want to break that barrier. I want to break that's the whole reason behind this, was to break that barrier. um, anyway, so hopefully this will grow a little bit. I'm doing a little bit at a time, and obviously today this is introduction to my introduction again. So I'm probably going to do a few more like this, just to get used to uh, what this whole thing is all about. I really do want to get into the books, but I want to do that when I have more people coming in, and have the discussion as I'm reading it, and that would be more than uh, more than helpful to do that. That's exactly the reason why I did this in the first place, was so that we can have a conversation and learn. Um, and of course, like I said, it's also, if you join me on the Facebook group, go ahead and add yourself to the Facebook group and become a member there, which is listed in the description below. And if you do that, then we will. I will close up the Facebook group to be private within. I was going to say by the end of the month, I think, so that people have a chance to come in and hopefully be, reasonable and everything. If you're going to be obnoxious or anything and say something rude in there, I will remove you. But after the end of this month, of course, I will be putting on a private, and then I will have to approve who joins. So there is that. And so all these books that I have as well, and I should mention as well, all the books that I have, I got for free. You're getting them for free. It's just so there's no reason why I can't share them. Um, and there's actually a website that I had an attachment to, I guess, that I actually got them from. But yes, I still got them all for free. So there's no reason why I can't share them for free. I'm not making any money off of that. Um, and it's just I make the money off the channel because, of course, I put lots of time into this channel and that, and working on it, just like anybody else. And so I just stick to what the channel does. Now, I do have a membership on this channel. Don't get me wrong. I do have a membership on this channel. And if you'd like to, please join it. I may actually work a little bit more towards doing a few membership related things. But at the moment, I don't have a whole lot of people on that membership. So I'm sticking to uh, the basics of YouTube to do what I do. Now, there is a new feature coming out on YouTube that is called collaborations, which is pretty much similar to, like, all those other ones like StreamYard and Riverside and all those that allow you to collaborate and bring other people in and other places. So if this new collaborations thing works out, then you won't need those, and that'll all be part of the YouTube system, I guess. And when you go on a live or you go on create a video, you can actually add somebody else in on the video to be a part of it. So you won't have to have all those other features. And I'm all for. I'm not all for the free of everything. Don't get me wrong here. That's not exactly true. There are some things that I actually do endorse that you could eventually pay for if you wanted to pay for them. But in reality, if you're a new YouTuber out here and you don't have monetization yet, it's best to find the things that you can do that are not going to cost you. Because if it's, and I've said this many times before in other videos, of course, if it's going to cost you, you're putting money out of your pocket you don't have yet. And so it's not worth it to put that money out if you're not even monetized yet. So it's totally up to you. That's a totally different thing if you want to do that. But in most cases, you don't need to. And so you can just do it as is. And, YouTube actually is accommodating enough. I can even share files as I just did. And I'm going to share my books, share all the information. Um, you know, like I said, if anyone comes in and would like to join in with me on this, please feel free to put out your tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, and a little bit about you, so we can get to know each other. It's all really good to do. So we make a community here of this the all about the alternative. I can do more here. There's a lot of other things I'd love to do, and there's some things that I can do some lives where I actually do maybe some of the recipes and stuff like that. I do want to do that, but time will tell if I can actually get that started or going over time. So we'll see how that all works out. Um, so hopefully, like I said, if you have joined me here, you can give me the like, you can give me a subscribe. And if you're joining me on the replay, please put a comment down below and let me know what you would like to see, what you would like to actually be a part of on this channel, because it would help me out, of course, to get to know more about my audience. I know I do have a UK audience, British audience too, that I don't know how I can really. I'm trying to see where I can relate this to. Obviously, some of this stuff will be relatable to that as well, because there's cultures, there's religions, there are relationships all across the world. I can touch on government, which is a portion of this course thing, as philanthropy is involved, and just a whole bunch of different things. As far as the relationships part, there is actually a section on becoming an officiant. So if you wanted to be ordained to do weddings, I mean, there's a section here that's pretty interesting on how that is done, and what you have to do to achieve it. I'm not looking to do anything to become ordained or to be any kind of spiritual leader or anything. All this was a need to learn, and I took it as a need to learn, uh, and to share and after I did it a little bit, and I made the theory that I wanted to make with it, and back up my theory, which I actually did. I mentioned some in another place actually, but I may bring it here, and I did that, and I actually had a. And then afterwards I took it and said, well, I want to share it. I want to actually share with people what I've learned, and bridge that gap, or close the gap rather, that this whole divide has created in our society today, especially across these social media platforms. And I'm all for prayer. I'm all for prayer. That's something that anybody should be able to do. Yes, sure. Some prayer is private to some people, but some prayer needs to be. There's that thing that goes, grief demands a witness. Well, so does everything else. If you can have a personal moment and do your prayer and do all that, but as a social not a social leader, but as a religious leader at some point, and one of them just mentioned that the other day, that As a religious leader, you expect that that would be a person who would actually want to lead in prayer, lead in guidance, lead in care of what other people do. And that should be something that they want to advocate for. And seeing how they're not, that seems very odd to me that they would not want to do that. It's not just one. There's more. There's not just there's another one that's very similar, and has said a few things like that too. Excuse me. And of course, there's also the ones out there that claim that God told them to start a YouTube channel. That's I think that's my favorite one. Is God told them to start a YouTube channel and give advice on something. I don't know. If you know which one I'm talking about, you know which one I'm talking about. Uh, yeah. Well, okay. I, you can probably claim that, I guess, but you're misleading your audience, I guess, to be following you for maybe the wrong reason. Um, and this one in particular is like, join my membership. I'll give you free, or I'll give you advice if you join my membership. Uh, you know, and uh, and it's that's what they're trying to relate it to. Um, well, okay, but um, most of it is like, I don't know. I don't know if that financial advice is worth taking. To be really, really honest with you, I don't even know. So that's my opinion there. I guess that is where I'm jumping this thing from, because I've seen so many of this stuff, and I said, well, I've gone so many years now with all of this information that I gathered, and like I said, it's still growing because I got some more the other day that I was not even aware of, and so I'm doing a little research on those new ones before I actually add them to any kind of course load to this. It's a discussion, not a course, but it's based on a course, um, and one of the things that has always been an interest, or has been interesting to me, actually, as I started reading the introduction to theology, and and the introduction to theology, the very first paragraph of the introduction of theology actually states to question what God is. Question God. Question uh, what um, what each section is all about. What is actually referred to and what is talked about. Talking about agnosticism, talking about atheism, uh, and it actually brings up all of that and what to question and why we question it. Um, and for a pastor to come out and say, this is one and all, this is only, or even a rabbi to do the same thing, actually, and it has happened. Um, and I understand the reason behind it, of course, because they want to exalt the idea behind what they're doing, but there is a point to it that they second guess themselves later and say, I learned about all of this. Well, if you learned about all of this, you would know that there's more than one. There's more than one thing out there that says that maybe they all follow the same actual thing in the end. There is one being we're praying to, but but there's more than one way. There's more than one thought. There's more than one look at all of it. And of course, my being all about the alternative, that is what I do here, is it's looking at all of that. And so when I found all of this information and I found all these pieces, it just fit together, and just said, you know what, I can share that, and that is exactly who that this channel is all about. Anyway, I still haven't covered the second book here. I don't have any. I don't have a whole lot of people coming in yet. They don't know me. Nobody. You don't know me yet, and you've just learned a little bit more about me today. Why I'm doing this. So hopefully, I get more people that want to join in and take part. And like I said, if you're joining me on the replay, um, now's a great time to hit that like button. hit the subscribe button to hear more of this, to get involved in the conversation. Put a comment down below to, let me know what you're thinking about it. Let me know if there's another way you'd like me to look at it. Is there something else you'd like me to do? And the more people I get in on the live when I'm actually doing it and start the discussion, that's when I'm going to start doing the books, because it just makes more sense, because then I'll have more people actually interested in the books. Otherwise, I could do the books here, and that maybe my next section is to just do the book, and then pop out the section that I just read the book and put that out on my channel separately. I guess that I've seen people doing that too. So there could be that as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave that here for today. It's already, we've done quite a bit. And hopefully you will join me on the next one and get actually started on those books. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday then. Have a great day, everybody, and miracles happen every day, and have a good day.